This is the Art Beauty Podcast where we tell the real truth about the fake shit. Hi, everybody. I'm Amber, and today my fabulous co-host is, and I'm going to try to not butcher her name because my French is horrific, Margot Hubert. She is with Biologique Recherche. Again, bad French, but you've heard of the brand. It is a luxury brand based out of Paris, and we're going to learn all about that today. And there's also some exciting new news that she's going to be sharing with us. Welcome to the show, Margot. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here to talk a little bit more about Biologique Recherche and get everybody to know the brand a bit better, because it's a cult brand, but it's still a little bit under the radar. It's not as out there as you would think. So I'm happy to answer all your questions.
I love that. And to keep it honest, because we keep it real here, it's funny. I've worked in beauty for 20 years. I'd heard of the brand. I'd never tried it. And I work at New Beauty Magazine. So, you know, the epitome of beauty. And one of the executives, it is her favorite brand. And so I was like, you know what? I need to know more about this. You know, before we get going, can you just pronounce the name for us again?
Biologique Recherche.
Okay.
So
bear
research,
with me, everybody.
Research
Yeah.
is the recherche in French, and biologique is biologique. So if you said it with an English accent, it would probably be like Biologique Recherche.
Right, research. Okay.
But
I actually listened
you're not the first one. Like since I've started working for this brand, the amount of people that are just like BR, like just make it simple. It's definitely a hard to say name, even for a French person. Actually, it's kind of a tongue twister.
I mean, my best friend is fluent French. I actually got to travel to France with her. The French were so impressed by her language. So I know she's cringing right now. Sorry about that, Brooke. But you know, I like it. We're going to call it BR for my own sake, but Biologique.
Easy, faster. It's going to be faster for us both.
So I want you to start because, you know, like I said, you mentioned before, it is a cult brand, something that I'm sure in Paris and France, it is well known. But for those of us here in the States, tell us a little bit about the brand, because it does have a very unique sort of approach to beauty.
Yeah, so Biologique Recherche, first, it's a brand that has built its business out of a network of spa partners and very exclusive spa partners. So unlike the traditional beauty brands, you're not going to find us at a Sephora, at an Ulta, or even at a Nordstrom or Macy's or Bergdorf, or like you name them, or Saks. We don't sell direct to consumer, except now on our website and in our Ambassade, because there's a real will for the company to have an expert, basically guide the consumer into the appropriate product selection for them. And everything at Biologique is personalizable. So we actually the company believes in 3 phases. And the first phase is called the diagnostic phase. And to enter the brand, you need to go through this phase, which is basically meeting online or in-person consultant, which would be your esthetician and spa, or we have online consultations available. And that person would do different types of diagnostics. One would be a visual diagnostic with a series of questions that they would ask you on your skin. We also have tools that we have created ourselves that are very, very advanced diagnostic tools. One is called the Skin Instant Lab. One is called Visiolab. And one is actually pretty unique. It's a DNA test of your skin, basically, to see how your skin will evolve in time based on your DNA. Yeah, it's pretty unique. This is actually the only brand that has that. It's costly and it's longer, like you need 2-3 weeks to get your results back. But those 3 together, Visiolab, Skin Instant, which is a diagnostic tool that has different receptors that you put on your skin, basically, just to measure sebum and dryness and like firmness. There's 5 of them. Visiolab is more about sun damage, and then obviously my BR DNA is like the holy grail. But the 3 together will really provide you with the best understanding of your skin, and based on that, a proposal of products will be done. And there's 2 phases in the products, which is the 2 other phases. One is called Initialization phase, which is basically setting up your skin for treatment, which is mostly what you would consider cleansing, exfoliation, masking.
Okay.
And then the treatment phase, which is the last phase, which is serums, creams. We have post-cream finishing serum. We have a lot of those. And this is kind of like the three kind of steps of Biologique Recherche.
Uh, you know what?
Go
I,
ahead.
I want to stop you before you keep going. First of all, the three tests that you've talked about sound incredible. I've actually done the Visio, and the
Yeah,
Visio it's like a camera that will show you your sun damage. It is horrific.
it's horrific. It's
If you're
very
doing
scary. Yeah.
it's very, very scary, but also so cool. So when
Mhm.
people come in, I assume I love that you mentioned that you had virtual consulting, right? Because, for those of us who can't get to one of your fabulous locations in Paris, although I'm spoiling it, they've opened one here in the US. We'll talk about that more later. But, so that's just kind of that visual. But for people who want to go in for this sort of like trifecta of incredible testing, can you like what does that cost? I'm just curious.
So the Skin Instant Lab and Visio Lab are free,
Oh,
especially if you have a treatment scheduled after, because they would basically be before your treatment every time. It would take 20 to 30 minutes of diagnostic. So if you schedule a treatment with any of our expert spas, they will, have some kind of diagnostic. Not all of them have the Skin Instant Lab. We have about a 30% penetration at this point. So
okay.
30% of our clients have the diagnostic tool. Visio Lab has been there for longer. I wouldn't know the numbers, but I think more partner spas have that one. My BRDNA is the one that does have a cost though. If I'm not completely wrong, I think it's $200 to get it done. And that one is actually not in all spas. If somebody was interested, I would suggest calling our partner spa to make sure they have it. We have it at the Ambassade in Los Angeles, obviously, because we have everything there. Um, but we don't have it in all our spas. So if somebody's interested in my BRDNA, I would suggest calling the spa and making sure they have it. And that one, yeah, that one is pricey just because we need to pay an analysis lab to
Sure.
do this for us, and there's a big cost associated to that, which again we don't make any profit on. It's really just the cost of getting those results back.
But what I'm really hearing is that with BR, you are really focused on making sure that you are providing the right products
Exactly.
for each person's individual skin. So a lot of care goes into that. I think that the product that I believe that you're most known for are the P50 lotions,
Yeah.
right? So can you tell us a little bit about those?
So P50, I won't say it, but there's some big beauty corporations out there that still call that product the best beauty product in the world.
Right.
And I've been in those corporations, so I've heard that straight out of leadership's mouth. I think P50 was kind of one of the first exfoliating lotions to come out. Our founders, Yvon and Josette Alouche, did not believe in extractions, in poking your skin, in like hurting the skin with like steam, and they're really all about more like cold, and they didn't think like also a scrub, a physical scrub would be good for your skin. So anything abrasive they didn't like, but they believed in chemical exfoliation, and they launched
Mhm.
P50, which is basically an exfoliating lotion. Right, in the early 70s when the brand started. Very famous for its smell, because the original one, it's a mist of yeast and ferments and phenol, so it's got a very, very distinctive smell. Not for everyone, but we don't put fragrance in our products, so we're also very famous for that, for having very distinctive out there smells, because we use a lot of yeast and ferments. And P50, the thing with that product is that you need to use it 50 days, so it's a higher commitment product. And by the way, Biologique does not believe in short-term skincare. That's one
No.
very strong point of view that they have, is if you're there's no holy grail product out there that's gonna change your skin in 5 days. If they're saying that, it's a lie. Which is why they don't also believe in showing customer tests like, oh, after 7 days, 20% less wrinkles. It doesn't work like this. And I appreciate and respect that a lot from them, because again, having been from different backgrounds, it's not always like that. And P50, it's 50 for 50 days. It's an
Oh,
exfoliating lotion that will transform your skin if you stick to it. Now, it is very potent. It's high on actives, especially the original one, the one we call 1970. So some people might have reactions, which is why today we actually have 5 different types of P50 to, again, be true to our personalization and be able to go from the most sensitive skin to kind of like a skin that's already used to exfoliation and can take something a little bit stronger, to people that want more brightening, to people that have more acne, or large pores issues. So now we have an array of P50s that serves kind of like more skin instance, what we call skin instance, which is like the moment that we do this diagnostic to your skin. Because, sorry, this is a long answer, but the other thing that I should say about Biologique Recherche is that we do not believe, if I tell you today, these are the 5 products you need to use, in 5 months or even maybe 4 months, they might change. Because your skin evolves so much seasonally, hormonally, but also because of the products you use. We need to redo kind of this skin instant diagnostic, and your skin instant today might transform to another skin instant tomorrow. And this evolution of personalization needs to continue along the way.
So really what I'm hearing again is you're not a one and done. This isn't like you're going to find your products and stick with them. You're actually encouraging your client base to say, hey, come in, get tested. Let's make sure we're setting up with the right products and then get retested again so that we make sure that we are continuing your skin journey and delivering the best results.
And also so you can see results, because what we see is if people come back after using Biologique Recherche steadily and regularly, as we've told them, they will see improvements on the same machine with the same measurements.
Wow, that's going to be so gratifying. I love that when it comes to technology and beauty. I'm such a sucker for that stuff. So the P50 1970, which is what I have here, which I knew was your original. So I did not follow the rules, but knowing that you were going to come on this podcast, I was like, I better try the product. So I got the cleanser and I got the P50 1970. Very strong.
Yeah.
Very, very different kind of a smell. As you mentioned, I'm glad we're just not going to sugarcoat that.
It's a lot of the P50-70 users though are addicted to the smell now, because we launched one without the phenol smell and they could not use it. I need that smell. And even their partners, we had some clients that came to us saying, my partner is missing the smell of P50 1970 when I go to bed. The phenol smell.
See, I will say what's interesting is when I used it, and then I was like, you know what, let me wait and find out and wait and talk to Margot so that I know that I'm doing this right, because it is a very active product. You don't rub it on, you put it on a cotton ball.
Tap it. Yeah.
You tap it on. Rubbing. So I paid attention to that. But I will comment on the smell because, I am married and I do pay attention to that. Some of the products that are like a lot of the time, the doctor brands can be a little bit more medicinal. I didn't feel like the scent stayed on so long, right?
It's still potent, but it doesn't stay that much.
But it doesn't stay on. But just letting you know, if you get it, you don't get a bad batch. That is the smell. I'm glad to know that.
No, and we have a lot of those. Like there's a mask called Masque Vivant that is like yeast, literally, and it does have a super strong smell. I'm kind of addicted to it now because I think it smells like raw cocoa. But you will see online, I love going to see reviews online of people, and the different interpretation of the scent is hilarious. We could actually do a TikTok game of just people guessing what they're smelling with our products. It's hilarious.
I want to talk to you. You said that really it's meant to be used for 50 days. 50 days is when we're going to see
minimum.
A minimum. So thank you. So to clarify that, it's actually something that you would then continue depending on going in for your skin checks. Maybe you're going to change some variation of the P50, but is the P50 sort of in every regimen, some variation of it? Yeah. Okay.
The one thing with P50 though, especially if using the 1970, which is a little bit more drying, you need, which is why Biologique will say we want to recommend a cream that goes with that for your skin, because you're going to need extra hydration and a serum. So hyaluronic acid, you're going to need something that's giving you the extra step if you're using the most potent of ours. And exactly as you said, after 2-3 weeks, if you feel that you're drying up slowly, you need to call your aesthetic. You don't need to come back in, but at least talk about what's happening, because maybe the moisturizer you're using that you had before is actually not moisturizing enough now that you're using P50.
Got it.
And also, some people start with 1970 and we realize that it's just not for them. It's a bit too strong. And then they'll have to switch to P50, pigment 400 or P50. I think V is the other one that we have that's a bit lighter. I'm not so familiar with all of them because I use 1970 as well. And so, they might switch you different depending on the season from one to another as well. So I actually got recommended when I did my diagnostic 2 different ones, one for the night and one for the morning.
Oh, and so it's meant to be used twice a day.
So I'm still using mine only once a day, but eventually you ramp up your way to twice a day.
Gotcha. Now, is there a certain type of skin type that, you look like you've got gorgeous skin. I certainly know the executive who uses it in New Beauty, stunning skin. Is there a skin type that this is meant for? More oily? Is it meant to tackle blackout, like blackheads, breakouts, or is it kind of for everybody?
It's for everybody. Everybody needs to exfoliate. It's, you know, helping the natural process of cellular reconstitution of the skin. And it's better to do this. The only thing is, obviously, if you're doing P50, you should not be using a scrub or retinol. By the way, that's another big mistake that people do, is using retinol with this product will create more irritation, because retinol dries out your skin as well.
Absolutely. And you won't need the retinol because this is already doing the exfoliating for you. Okay. So
this does wonders, I think, for, sorry, this does wonders for people that want, you know, softer skin, meaning like refined pores. They actually believe that if you use P50, you will not need extractions anymore, because it will actually refine your pores in a way that like your skin is poreless. As well as obviously hyperpigmentation it's also great for that, especially the one that we have that's called P50 Pigma 400. That's the one specific for hyperpigmentation. That's my other one that I have. So I don't think it's really a specific type of skin. It's really in our like the Biologique Recherche regimen, as part of the initialization phase. It's the core products, the one we would recommend for everyone.
Got it. And so, you know, you mentioned something about not using retinol. Is this maybe a good alternative for people who really just have a lot of trouble using a retinol?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
It's AHA, BHA. So basically, like, a lot of brands have launched similar solutions now. I don't think this is a higher, you know, active one in terms of percentage. So it is going to be a bit more strong. And there is something a secret ingredient in there that I don't even know, that just works better than everything else. I even after all these years. I mean, I was working for the competition and we were trying to imitate this product on and on and on and on. We had a lot of passes at it and still we didn't get it. You know?
And now you're in the driver's seat, and they still don't tell you what the secret ingredient is. I love it. You know what? Look, if it works, it works. We don't really need to necessarily know everything, but good to know no fragrances in there.
No, none of our products.
None of your products are. And now, so let's talk about, there's some exciting news, because again, now there was only spas in Europe, correct? Or was it only in France?
So yeah, we had our own named, what we call Ambassade in Paris, one which is a historical one, Champs-Élysées, and one that just opened last year in a smaller residential area of Paris, Tournon. So those were the two kind of like large owned Ambassade, so owned spas. There's a few in other countries, but they're distributor led, so it's a bit different. But yes, we opened our first in the US this last August.
So let's talk about that. Tell me all about where this is, how we get there, all the juicy details.
Yeah, so our first opened on Melrose Place in LA. We basically took over a house, let's put it that way, a 2-floor building. Reattach it with another building at the back. It's overall 6 cabins, 6 rooms, including a hair treatment room, 5 cabins, including a VIP double cabin that has its own private access, because in LA, so many celebrities need to have kind of like the back entrance. So we made sure that was there as well. It's a beautiful space. It took us a while to renovate, and we are so excited we opened it in August. And the objective here is, you know, we were very lucky. Biologique started in 1998 in the US. And the idea was really just to build awareness through our network of exclusive spas. And we are around 300 spas in the US now that carry the brand and that do our treatments. And they honestly made the success of this brand. So we couldn't be more grateful on the awareness and the service and the treatment and the care they've had for the brand. But we felt like there was no destination, or no flagship, except in Paris, where we had a lot of American clients go, where you could discover the brand from more of a, an experience perspective, an image, a DNA perspective, like Biologique and everything. Really immerse yourself in the Biologique Recherche world. And that was one of the reasons. The other reasons was we knew from what we had seen in Paris, and we knew that was going to be the case here, that this would help us continue raising awareness and aspiration in regions where we might not be as highly penetrated as the Northeast. So LA and California in general, and especially the Southwest, was a region where we know we had more opportunity in terms of like network. So
but because you have more fans in the Northeast?
So the brand started in the Northeast, and our biggest spas, our biggest client, Rescue Spa, and that are we're all based in and New York, like Philly and New York, basically. So that was really where the brand started, and that's where we penetrated the most. West Coast took a little longer to start, and Florida as well, which are kind of like our strategic kind of like areas now for us to expand the brand.
So, question for you: do you think I'm in New York, based in New York? Is it possible that you might eventually open something here?
I mean, you know, if we're thinking of a flagship strategy, you would think New York is a no-brainer. We also believe there are enough consumers in New York to serve another Ambassade. And we have a lot of partner spas in New York that have a very loyal clientele, which will stay with them. So we would hope that this would be really kind of net extra when it comes to consumer recruitment. So yeah, New York is not definitely out of the question. We are looking at, you know, like let's say 10 cities. We don't want, it's not going to become like a 200 store situation.
Right.
We really want to curate and bring these in very selective cities and very selective areas. Again, more as a brand image play than an actual sales, you know, strategy. It's really to help us build the brand in the country where people don't really know, as you didn't, who Biologique Recherche is.
But you mentioned before that you do have a network of partnerships all over the country. You said about 300 different spas. So if we do want to find out more about that, where would we go to? Biologique?
So we have a website, mybr.com.
MyBR. Oh, you made it easy for everybody. MyBR.com. I was going to try to pronounce it, but now I don't even have to.
Because you have to create a login. It's a kind of a private members club, so you have to have your own access. It's a little bit. It's not the classical kind of like website where you just drop in and get all the information. But the good thing there is we have a spa locator that will tell you where you can find the brand based on your zip code. We are also in a lot of hotel spas, so most of the most luxurious hotels in the country. So that's also a place you can find us if you think, wait, there's no spa in my area, you might have a hotel partner. And we're also starting to launch in a lot of med spa, which are growing a ton also right now and need products for, you know, post-treatment. And we have a whole line and a lot of products that are great for that. So we're trying to work with more dermatologists and medical spas too.
Amazing. Now, going back to the Ambassade on Melrose Place, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Can you tell us any celebrities who've been there? Probably not, but is there anybody?
No, you can, because they posted about it. That's really
good. Tell us who's been there.
So we had Rumor Willis, I think last week or the week before, Demi and Bruce Willis's daughter. Amazing. We had Hilary Duff the first month where we opened. And we've had a few recently, but I'm not going to give it up until they start posting because I don't want to burn the fire. And going towards award season, we're also trying to do, you know, as much as we can pre-award season treatments there, pre-Oscars, pre-Grammys, and try and offer kind of the celebrity that are nominated for some of those awards to come in for a prep.
They get all the good stuff, but I like that we can get the same stuff too. You know, if you mentioned really quickly hair, right? So Biologique or BR is not just skincare, you also have a hair care. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So basically, we have body and hair. Obviously, you know, facial care is still 90% of our business. But as from the beginning, apparently our founder, you know, considered scalp obviously as skin, and knew that you had to treat scalp and body as well. So there was a very narrow line of products created for scalp treatment, as well as shampoos and conditioners, which is a tiny piece of our business right now. But we do want to have scalp treatment in our Ambassade, and we have created a beautiful salon for it. Again, it's not the place you're going to go to get a beautiful blowout and styling. It's really, we're gonna treat your scalp, and either you keep it in and go home. We will have showers for people to rinse their hair if needed, but it's again, it's the same methodology. We do a diagnostic, and then we come with there's a P50 for the scalp, a P50 for the body as well. By the way, we made that, and then for body, there's a lot. I don't know if you haven't had a facial yet with us, right?
No.
Or with the spa. So the technique that Biologique uses is a lot of lymphatic drainage, even for your face, with a ton of massage. And so our extension to the body obviously continues in that area with a lot of lymphatic drainage, slimming massage, light legs massage. I'm trying. They're all French name, and I'm trying to do instant translation. Like it's like a massage jambes légères, massage massant. So there's a lot of body now. I know body is a huge trend in the US as well, and hopefully we will be able. We have a lot of partners as well, starting to get to offer Biologique Recherche body treatments to their consumers. So it's still small but growing.
I mean, body and scalp. Scalp is really everybody, in the past year has started to focus. There's so many products out there because, like you said, and like your founder knows, the scalp is the extension of the skin on your body, and we need to take care of that. Is there, so if there is somebody who is new to the brand, is there something and they had access to one of the spas? Is there like a treatment that you personally would recommend?
So again, I only started in June, as I told you earlier. So I haven't had that many treatments yet. I know that the most famous one, which is kind of the one, like our products, the treatments, you wouldn't go in and get one of the most like effective, potent ones until you've already used the products or things for a while, right? And this is what they tell me. So there's kind of like, I'm not like one of the entry treatments is called soin restructurant et lissant. Which is a booster that we use. A booster are these are our professional products that we use in cabin, which is a powder that you mix with a liquid basically to create kind of like this this fresh press. I want to see fresh pour of a product, and this is the one that is applied with the intense massage. And so I did that one, and this one's target is really to lift your skin, and there's a huge immediate effect. Basically, they actually do half of your face, show you in the mirror, and you see an incredible thing that just happened. You just had a lift, basically. This line for me had disappeared. Like it was crazy, and it's obviously a 24-hour thing. You're gonna look amazing for 24 hours. So it's a great service to have if you're gonna have an event that night. But obviously, all the products that are being used are also lifting, so they would recommend to do that treatment regularly. I've been a little busy, so I haven't been able to do that, but I'm definitely going to ramp up my treatments. And then there's a lot of other treatments. We have a lot of machines, RFM, which is called remodeling face, which comes with electric currents. And there's a lot of more intense. And the one I was talking to you about is a 60-minute. We have 90-minute. We have 120 minutes. There's a long list of services. And again, the one I'm talking about also are for Ambassade. Obviously, every spa will have Biologique dedicated facials, but they might curate them to their,
Sure.
Their spa as well, their clientele.
I want to be respectful of your time. I know that you said you just started, and I feel like, we know nobody knows beauty better than the French women. Where are you from?
I was actually born in the French Caribbean, an island called Guadeloupe.
Okay.
And I moved to south of France when I was 7, and I lived close to Marseille, Nice, Cannes, French Riviera, not the worst place to be. But I've always worked in the US. I've never worked in France, which is funny. I left right after I finished school, and I've been gone since.
Oh my gosh. I got to go right before COVID to the south of France, and it was everything
beautiful
that you would imagine it to be. I want to thank you so much for your time here today.
Oh, and also, you for having me.
We don't have to call other names, but I do want to point out for anybody who's listening, you've worked for some of the biggest names in beauty. So for you to now go to BR, it's a big deal. It's a really big deal.
No, it's an amazing brand, and it's the funny thing, and it's going to loop back to what you said at the beginning. When I started telling people I was going there, ex-colleagues or like even friends and family, I was not expecting it, but everyone knew the brand. Yeah. And everybody was like, oh my God, I need products. And I was like, you've never talked about this brand for all this time when I've been working with all of these other brands. And now you're like so excited about it. What is it about this brand that makes people not talk about it, but everybody actually in the back is using it? And I really kind of like, my conclusion was like, Biologique Recherche is like people's best kept secrets. People don't want to talk about it because it works so well. You don't want to give away your best skincare secret, right? And it seems that like so many people are actually using it. It's part of their regimen. It's in their cabinet, but they don't really talk about it until they find an opportunity to, because it's a secret.
It is. It's our secret. It's our beauty secret weapon. And I love that. And it's so true. Margot, if people want to know more about the products, if they want to know more about the beautiful Ambassade, where can they go?
So again, like our website, I would say is the main place, mybr.com, for them to understand everything about products. You'll need to log in to be able to check our prices, check our products, check our universe. It's kind of more of a selective space. And then we actually have a website for the Ambassade as well, which is Biologique Recherche.ambassade, I think. I'll have to confirm that with you. But there is a different URL for it where you can make your bookings, contact the Ambassade, check out the menu, the services, the price points, etc. We also obviously have our Instagram channels. We have one for Biologique Recherche USA, which is our domestic channel. We have a global channel, Biologique Recherche, and we have an Ambassade channel, Biologique Recherche Ambassade LA. So all the information is there as well.
Amazing. If you just want to lose yourself in the ultimate beauty escape, I highly recommend that you check out some of those social channels, because you're right, it is gorgeous. And check out the photos of the beautiful Ambassade. Congratulations on your new job. Congratulations on this beautiful Ambassade. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me. This was lovely.
If you have any questions you want me at home to pass on to Margot or her team, I'm always happy to do that. You can email me at hello@artbeautypodcast.com. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Art Beauty Podcast. And as always, we will see you next Tuesday. Bye.